people have said, man, have you been working out, bro?
For real?
You do look
People
slimmer.
asking.
Because you know
there's
what
certain
it is?
things that accentuate your face. I get a fatter head when I shave my head.
Yeah,
That's what I
yeah.
realize. Like my head looks like I've been like drinking.
Yeah, you feel like
You
it
know what I mean?
swells
I
up.
feel like I
yeah.
get puffy. Yeah, like you been drinking.
There was one video, man, that I saw that you did one of those teacher
You're
talks.
like, Matt's getting fatter.
And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, did he get a hair transplant? It's just that's why his face is swelling. It looked like one of those after pictures of
Wait,
of
a hair transplant?
Oh, you
makes your
haven't seen
face
that,
swell?
dude? Oh my god, dude! Because there's so much, this whole area when
That
people
your
get
face just goes.
well, the blood, and then it comes down. Some people have to wear headbands because their entire face like swells down to here.
Dude,
Wow,
imagine.
really that bad?
Some people.
That's gonna trip people out though if you show up like 3 weeks. Well, it takes
With a
about 6
mushroom head?
months. But yeah, like with you got like an Edgar cut and like
Mhm.
your hairline was like back to here.
To have a
That's
hair.
gonna like freak people out. Imagine if you have you heard of those surgeries where short guys break their legs
To
Oh
be
my God.
taller.
to make themselves taller? I wish I could have done that as a teacher.
So stupid.
Break my legs to make myself taller and then come
Hurt
back with
yourself.
like a hair transplant down to here. And you're
Yeah.
like,
That's
You know
just, like,
also why
totally
that's
different
stupid?
person.
Because you're not lengthening your arms. So now,
Right.
now
So
you
you
got
got
these.
short arms,
Now you
yeah.
look like Desmond Bain from the former of the group. You guys know who I'm talking about?
no, but
Yeah,
just
yeah,
the
yeah.
You know
name
who
is
I'm talking
funny, and
about?
I'm
I
thinking
think
of
I
the
know.
torso.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
got the short. He actually for his arms are
Uh-huh.
proportional, but in the NBA, everyone's arms are so much longer
Yeah.
that it looks like he has T-Rex.
He looks
arms.
like he's a toddler on stilts.
Yeah, he's got like it looks like his. He has
That's
little arms.
funny.
Dude, it's such a pathetic way, I feel like, to live your life. And this is not to anybody who supports the teacher lounge who's broken their legs. We still want your support to be taller. I get it. I'm the size of middle school students. I was never self-conscious about my height till I started teaching middle school. Because I'm like, dude, some of these kids look
I'm
like
taller than you.
they're the size of John Goodman.
Yeah.
Some of them.
Yeah, some of
And
these
they're
kids
gonna
got,
get bigger over the summer.
yeah, and some of these kids wear like a size 13 already. They got like an afro. They got facial hair and
A
stuff like that.
mortgage.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Dude, yeah, it looks like
yeah.
you've lived through 3 divorces and you worked in a coal mine.
Yeah.
Like there was an 8th grader,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
I know
yeah.
we've talked about. We're going to do a sketch around this.
Okay.
But I had an 8th grader at my school that was like, I was like, dude, that guy looks 31 minimum.
Yeah.
And he was an 8th grader. He got all the girls.
See?
You know what I
Because
mean?
he had facial hair.
And he was mature too. Like she'd be like, some girl was like, she goes, I'll be right back, Mr. Jones. She's like, I got to wait for my boyfriend. And I was like, I thought he was faculty.
Wow.
Because there's like some guy waiting out, and he's like, I'm just waiting out here for her. And it's like he even has the mannerisms
deep,
of an
deep
old
voice
man.
already too.
Deep voice, deeper than mine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
See.
I'm just like, this is weird.
Yo.
Yeah, that's
You know,
that
you
is
see why these teachers be
Yeah.
attacking young kids now. Which is so bad. You know what I'm saying? It sucks.
Yeah, she just thought he was the janitor.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like, no, it's like he was in,
Yeah.
PE. Be like, oh, I thought he was a TA.
Yeah.
It's like, no, he
Just the
is,
yeah. There's always a couple 8th graders. Like there was a kid last year. I mean, man, he had gotten to my height, but
That's scary, dude.
But he
Like a giant child, like Honey, I Blew Up the Kid with Hurt Moranis.
but he was wide too. Like we're not talking just like a string bean. So he must have weighed like he looked like an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
He must
Right.
have weighed 230.
Dude,
Oh,
that's gonna
wow.
be so
Minimum
weird.
230.
Did he have a deep voice, or did he still sound like he like
He
played
sounded
with
kind
rocks?
of normal.
Okay.
Played with rocks.
Yeah.
It's this 5th grader at our school. He's a 5th grader now. But since 3rd grade, he's been about like 5'10". He's like 6'2" right now and a 5th
Wow.
grader. He still looks
How
like
tall
a
are
kid in
you?
the face. I'm 6'1".
6'1".
Yeah,
okay.
but this kid is super tall. Like he doesn't belong in, middle school. at
Right. He's
all.
like Billy
Yeah.
Madison. It's
Yeah.
like, who did you lose a bet to?
Exactly.
He's going back and recompleting school.
Yeah, he's social play sports,
Yeah.
but he doesn't, That's
wild.
the bad stereotype.
Yeah.
That all kids that tall should play sports. You know what I'm saying?
But it's almost like it's like a weird ingrained thing. It's like, why aren't you throwing a football? Be
Yeah.
like, there's nothing for you.
Like
in the
you
math
wasted your
class.
height for no reason.
It goes back to
Yeah.
like the Frankenstein trope. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
somebody
yeah.
that big doesn't have brains. It like went to his legs. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
The brain, the brain wasn't fully formed, so you just like shot out like giant legs.
just a big guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
I'm glad I'm not.
especially, I mean, if someone does come from a family that's like super tall, I want to go, if you like sports, you got to give basketball or maybe goalie a shot because
Do something.
Yeah, because I had a kid, his dad was 6'7", his mom 6'2",
Wow.
and
That's crazy, dude.
now I had him as a 5th grader, so he was just a tiny little kid, right? He was kind of normal. But when I met his mom and his dad and all that stuff, I went, "Oh my God, this kid is going to be probably a
Huge.
minimum of 6'7".
Easily.
So I go, if you're going to play a sport, it's either going to be basketball or you got to go for goalie or playing volleyball, something like that.
Yeah, pick a ball up or something. Really,
Yep.
yeah, real fast.
Because if you're 6'7"
yeah.
and can tie your shoes, you're playing low end D1 basketball
Easily.
Dude, because you're just dunking on, like, at that point, like, everybody is so much smaller than you. At most, it's like catching like your nephew at Thanksgiving. That's what it's like being like a basketball player. They're just scurrying around the court.
Check this out.
You
Ready?
know what I mean?
You know why it's so rare? So only 15% of all men in the United States are my height, 6 feet and taller.
Only 15%.
Only 15%.
Interesting.
So you're a minority.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then once you get to what percentage of the population do you think is 6'2"?
6'2". I would say 14, 15, anywhere from 14 to 20%.
No, remember, 15% is 6 feet and above.
Okay. So 6'2"?
It's lower than
10%.
3%.
3%? Good luck, ladies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. My homegirl moved to Texas and she hates it because she said all the guys are short. It's a state full of short dudes in Texas. All over just
That's
short
so
dudes.
funny.
She said she hates it.
Even with boots on.
With boots on. She
Even
said
with
they're
boots
like
on.
5'2", 5'3". She said the
No,
tallest
dude, that's
maybe,
shorter than
she
me.
said maybe the tallest is probably like 5'8". They're all like 5'9" and above. I mean,
So
below.
she's just
sorry, below.
relieved to see a 5'8" guy. She's like, you're kind of tall.
Yeah, she said dude is 6 feet. She's gonna love him. But she said all guys out there are super short and wear cowboy boots and hats on all the time.
Dude, that's
And
so
she
funny. It's like
hates
I'm
it.
5'10" with my hat on.
Yeah, it's a bunch of short guys. So I believe that's true.
That's so funny,
Well,
dude.
it probably also goes back to just migration patterns, right? Like when you think of those, they would say like those corn-fed Midwest boys, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
You think of very wide, you think of tall and stocky, whatever. And you go, yeah, those are all the people that came from the Nordic countries that you see the same body type over there.
Yeah.
They went to places like Minnesota. That's why you see so many for a long time.
Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, dude, all the blondes.
Yeah.
If
Where
a
that
girl
comes
was
from.
blonde, I remember at one point, I could almost guess what part of the Midwest that she was from because there was only like 3 major states that blondes were coming from if they weren't from California.
Yeah.
And it was like Minnesota, Wisconsin, and I forgot the other one,
Yeah.
you know? But yeah, it's once you get down to Texas, you're like, those are the kids that the short ones that couldn't handle it up in the north.
Dude, that's
They had
so
they had to
funny.
migrate south.
That's funny.
You have to have so much more swag as like a short guy. You have to be like that much more explosive
Yeah.
in your personality.
Yeah.
You can't be a short guy that just has an accountant and that's an accountant and a stamp collector.
Yeah.
Like you have to be,
Yep.
you have to have like chutzpah.
Do you want to hear?
And you have to be like charismatic.
100%. You
can't.
guys want to hear another stat that I heard that just blew me away?
What's that?
All right. So 3% of the population is 6'2" and above, right?
Mhm.
Um,
And that includes men and women?
men.
Okay.
When they go in to see CEOs of the top 1,000 companies or top 500 companies, what percentage of the CEOs are 6'2" and above?
Interesting.
I don't know.
I'm
ready.
I would say shorter.
39%.
Really?
So yeah, guys, people talk about different privilege and stuff like that. No one's ever thrown that one out. That height, 39% of all of the CEOs of Fortune 500 companies, it's either Fortune 500 or something like that, 39% are 6'2" and above.
It's the presence, I guess. That's crazy.
It's presence.
It's presence, and it's a feeling of if people have to look up to you, it signifies to their brain because like
confident.
Yeah.
they've even done studies to where like if you do, I used to do this with my students, like if you do like the cape thing, like if you put your shoulders back and even if you smile, they did studies at Harvard. They did it with like people who are manic depressive.
Yeah.
They found out that it boosted their mood and it
Absolutely.
was having similar patterns in their brain to like actually like medication,
Absolutely.
which is wild.
Yeah.
Right? It's either Harvard, Yale, or Princeton. I can't remember the study, but it's out there. But the thing is like your body signals things to your brain. So if you're doing that to your brain, what is that signal? Like I'm looking up to you, not down on you. And then what does it signal to you if every time you see somebody, you're like, what do you want? Like it's very hard to be intimidated. That's why it's weird to me when you see like the tall guy that goes through the awkward phase. You've never ever known anybody like that in school?
Yeah.
There was the awkward tall guy.
Yeah.
That's like almost like Frankenstein. Like he's afraid like everybody my size was just going to throw pebbles at him. You know what I mean? And run him out of the village with like our pitchforks.
Yeah.
They have that.
Yeah. I mean, tall guys got all the respect in school, man. The girls,
they did, dude.
The girls loved them. If you 6'5" and above, you got any girl you wanted.
6 foot and above, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 6'1",
but 6'5",
yeah.
100%. So
yeah,
you want to talk about dating apps? Yeah. So my buddy Trent lives in Tampa, right?
Okay.
And he made friends with this guy he's also was a model. So, but Trent's about close, he's 6'1.5".
Okay.
So he's always height wise, that's going to put him in the top, whatever. And so he had swiped through most of the girls in Tampa after he'd moved there on Hinge. And he could never match with like what you call the top tier. So he meets this guy at a bar. The guy's 6'5" and former model, really good looking guy. And he goes, "Hey, do you mind if I check to see who you match with on Hinge?" And the guy goes, "Do you really want to see it?" And he goes, "Yeah." He opens it up. It's all of the beautiful girls that my buddy couldn't match with, even though he's close to 6'2". Every single one had matched with him.
That's wild.
The guy's
hold on, I'm confused. With the shorter guy or the taller guy?
The taller guy, the 6'5" model.
Yeah.
And his bio, all it said was, "I'm 6'5".
Dude,
that's crazy.
It's so crazy because that, like, here's the thing. If you have enough game, I believe anybody can date effectively.
100%.
But what I will say is you have to know the cards that you have, right?
Yeah.
Being tall is on every girl's vision board.
Absolutely.
Because I've dated a lot of women. But the thing about it is every single girl that I've dated almost has been like, yeah, it didn't bother me that you're short, but if you would have listed your height on your profile, like, I don't know if I would have swiped on you. I've had multiple women. My own girlfriend now has told me that.
Yeah.
She's like, doesn't bother me at all. She was like, I'm really into you. She's like, but if your height was listed, she's like, I don't know if I would have swiped on you.
Absolutely.
And so it's
That's
like,
crazy.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. That's not going to work for me. I can't be like, I'm 5'5". Just leave it at that. You know what I mean? I'm sure there's some weird goth girl that like is into like anime and cosplay. That's like, you know, like if you dress up like an elf, I'll have a drink with you. You know what I mean? But like otherwise,
look
it's
at
like
my little Santa's helper.
Yeah, 100%. And the most annoying part is when kids, you want to talk about tall privilege, when kids walk up to me and they're like, it's the same crap that I got when I was a kid. They'd be like, you're short. Yeah. And then they do that thing. They go, yeah. And I'm like, go back to your seat. Like, this is like the one time I'm actually going to like spin kick a kid in the mouth. And I'm like, I'm picking on someone my own size.
Yeah.
That's great. They walk up and puff their chest. So you're eye to nipple.
Down, yeah. And they're like, yeah, kids used to do that to me whenever I was like younger. They would do that and they'd be like,
and they Mr. Jones, let me talk to you for a second.
100%.
They just start calling you Matthew.
They start calling me Maddie. And
yeah,
like,
Maddie.
I am gonna be one of those teachers that just like flips a gasket and like goes crazy.
Dude, what if a kid came up, like a tall kid came and just patted you on the head, top of your? Oh my god, dude.
Dude, the thing is like so my first year, I had like kids would say, they'd be like, yeah, you're a cool teacher, but you crash out a lot. And I do think, am I insecure about being short now? No. But when I was a kid, I was. And I think I did develop this habit of like flipping out.
Yeah.
And so I definitely did that on my students last year. Yeah. There were times like where I think I took a broom and like flipped it up against like, I like,
did you listen, please? Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, you almost have to do something like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes because people, otherwise people are going to be like, he's going to get caught in a mousetrap. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Like
you do have to do a lot more being short.
You do, dude. Look at Kevin Hart. Look how like you know what I mean?
He's loud,
like big and everything.
So loud,
all of that
of
comes
energy.
from being a short guy.
Yeah,
but that's also why. And I would love to know.
It's an
this.
overcompensation.
Yeah,
thing.
but I would love to know this as well. well, most people, dude, most actors
A
that are
short.
famous are not these tall people.
No.
Some
They-
are. Jim Carrey's tall. Brad Pitt's tall.
No, Brad Pitt's
Pitt,
my height.
Brad Pitt's not that tall.
Well, you're tall, dude. Both of you guys are
Well,
tall.
it's-
He-
yeah,
but
he's-
I mean,
he's 6
6'2".
feet?
Yeah, 6 feet. So
You guys are like, I'm not that tall, and I'm like, you guys are giants. Like,
to you, I know, right?
I feel like David. Like
Yeah.
both of you guys are Goliath.
Nah.
You know?
No. but-
Tom Cruise is like what?
Tom
5,
Cruise is my
6,
height.
6?
Yeah,
He's
5'6".
my height.
Yeah, he's short.
He wears
yeah.
lifts in his shoes.
That's funny.
Supposedly.
Some people do
Supposedly,
do this. And
dude
some
wears
guys.
the same
yeah.
boots in every picture.
Yeah, and
So
Yeah.
you know that those boots plus lifts, you know, because
Yeah.
it's probably the max that he can get that makes it just by the look of the boot,
to
and
be
then
tall.
gets more of the lift inside it.
dude, yeah, like,
I that would make me super insecure to wear a shoe like
Well,
that
dude,
for a lift.
well, dude, yeah, like it's just that goes back to the thing. People are very forgiving if you own things about yourself.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
the more you
absolutely.
own things about yourself, that will superimpose. Because I still do know tall guys who struggle with women because the tall thing gets you in the door. Like if you're tall,
it's like being a celebrity
you-
doing
if-
stand up.
100%, that gets you in the door. But you still have to be able to have some.
You gotta
kind
have
of
some
game.
brains.
You have to have
though.
some
You
kind
gotta
of
have some
game,
brains. You gotta have a
know?
mouthpiece. You just can't be a tall dude and expect to get all girls.
100%.
And you can be tall and still be ugly too. You know what I'm saying?
True.
It's
Or
not like
you
a
can
good
have no
looking.
swag or no game.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You
You
get the
know?
attention being tall, but look at your face.
But
you know?
that's crazy though.
Yeah.
It's such a small percent. You guys
Yeah.
are literally in
That's funny. I never knew that.
the
Chris.
what is it? 10%? 12? 3?
15.
You guys are in the 15%.
I'm gonna start telling people that.
Yeah, and be like,
I'm
I'm a
15%. You better get me, girl.
I'm a 50%. You better treat me like I'm.
Exactly.
You are rare, dude.
Yes.
You better treat me like a piece of filet mignon.
Yes, you're not gonna. Yes, that's
No,
crazy.
actually, if you so there's one for women as well, but if you go in and you could put in your stats,
Uh-huh.
like you can put in your height, you can put in not weight, but you could just exclude obese, right?
Uh-huh.
Put in, dude, you could even do race, the amount of money that you make, and I think there's another one. It'll tell you exactly statistically what percentage of the population that you represent.
Interesting.
It's
Really?
it's crazy when you actually see it. And so you can do the same thing with women. So like that's why when people talk about the whole like people's standards are way too high.
Mhm.
Well, they may not think that their standards are high, but when you look at statistics, you go, "Oh my god, someone's standards are ridiculous." Like I think when it gets to like how much I make and add in race, never not married, age, like a 10-year thing, like I think I represent like I think it's like 0.25% of the population.
Mm.
That means you're not even if you meet 100 people, you're not going to meet me.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's insane when you think of that kind of stuff, you know, because the height thing is the first like thing. And if immediately anything above 5'9", because 5'9" is the average.
So
But if you think about it, it's more broke. I mean, it's more broke people than people with money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
everything is. You look at things like being tall is definitely an accessory
listening.
in
I'll-
life. It's
no.
definitely an accessory. But you think of it living in Los Angeles, being able to like, we really don't realize like how blessed. This is gonna come off like really negative. Like, guys, we don't realize how blessed we are.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Be like the majority of just like crapping on our audience.
Absolutely.
Being like the majority of people will never know how
they
good this
have
fruit
no
tastes.
idea how we got it. Yeah.
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 But like
Uh-huh.
you have to like count your blessings because you really do look at it like most of the population, and this is not coming from a condescending thing, it's just like what most people do. Most people are not going to be into personal development.
Yeah.
Most people are not going to chase their dreams.
Absolutely.
Most people are not going to do a lot of things.
Absolutely.
Like most people will not own a podcast studio. We don't, but they do.
Or,
but, like,
or
most
attempt to
people-
even do a podcast or attempt to try it.
100%, or will
Yeah.
even get even close to even just touching their dreams.
Yeah.
And so what I try to always like beat into kids like as like a drama teacher is I'm trying to always tell them like you can do amazing things, because I know that the majority, this sounds pessimistic, but the majority of them are just not going to pursue their potential.
They're not.
And you have to know that, because that story is as old as the earth.
Yeah.
you know, and
Mhm.
people like for the most part are not going to pursue their potential.
Nah.
And so when you tell kids like, hey, you can do that, you're telling them the truth. But I also had to like accept like a lot of them won't.
You can't
And
help
that sounds like
everybody.
pessimistic, but it's
Yeah.
like you're just gonna lose your mind like trying to save every single person.
You
And I tried to
can't.
do that the first semester teaching, and I just flared out really
Yeah.
quick.
I
you
have
know?
my people. I have the ones that I choose to look out for. You know, if you're listening to me for advice, I'm gonna keep giving it to you. If you block it out,
100%. Yeah.
I'm not gonna keep doing it.
Yeah, you can't chase
Yeah.
somebody. You should learn that lesson as you become an adult. Like there were kids last year that I'd be like, dude, you have so much potential. There's a lot of things that you can do. You can be a writer. And I still go out of my way to tell kids that. But the difference is now, if I tell them that over and over, I'm not going to be the guy that's like their cheerleader.
They gotta want to do it.
They got to want to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Because
at these kids' age, they don't have a mindset to think above their situation. You know what I'm saying? They can't think
Of course
above
not.
like where they're at, especially if it's at home. And I also think a lot of things happen at home. If your parents are not motivating you, or if your parents are not motivated, how the hell are you going to be motivated?
100%.
You
Like
see what I'm
if your
saying?
parents are eating Takis, like
Yeah.
how are you going to want to not eat Takis?
They're not open. They're not open to listen to anything you're saying because it's not happening at home. And then it's not only not happening at home, but the friends they hang around, it's not happening with them either.
That's another advantage.
Yeah.
Like height is like
Yeah.
the fact that you had the awareness to be able to chase your dreams. That is a privilege, because how does that even happen? You know what I'm saying? Like you could be like, well, I'm just made of some special material, but it's like, it's not really that. It's like somebody somewhere
Motivate you. Shows you.
motivated you. And even you can even bring it down to like, okay, my brain chemistry was able to receive the motivation.
Yeah.
Because you know how many kids, like somebody tries to motivate them and it's just in one ear and out the other.
Absolutely.
And they don't, who can really quantify how that really
well,
happens?
if you also, you
what I'm
talk
saying?
about people modeling behavior for them.
Uh-huh.
If you tell a kid that reading is important,
They don't care.
well, they don't see anybody at home reading. They go over to people's places.
Uh-huh.
None of them are reading,
Yeah.
right? They don't see anybody ever reading.
Absolutely.
And they seem to all be getting by fine.
Yeah.
So what is the motivation there to read? Hey, you should do body weight stuff. No one around them works out. They seem happy enough.
Yeah.
There's nothing in the sphere of their experience, right?
Mhm.
To even make them think that that's a good thing,
Absolutely. Right.
right? And then they try it and it's hard, and then
They give up.
Yeah, well,
They're
I would give
done.
up too. And then you're just seeing everybody else they seem all right with how they're getting by. They're not working out, or they're not reading, or they're not doing all this stuff. They're not going to college.
Mhm.
They're getting by. I'll get by. You're not even processing it probably on a conscious level.
You're not.
It's just
you become a product of your environment in that
100%.
sense. You know, because like my dad hated reading, like growing up, hated it. Never saw my dad reading a book ever. And he's a smart guy. He just but he kept telling me all the time. He goes, if you read, it will create neural pathways in your brain.
Mhm.
And he would just always tell me that. He goes, if you read, it'll create neural pathways in your brain. And then when I found out that I wanted to become a comedian, I was like, I better start reading, because I did not pay attention in school at all. I had no idea that like George Washington was probably the first president until college.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just
Yeah,
did
yeah.
not care about anything teachers were saying.
Yeah.
But I read 1984 whenever I was in high school. And so I just started reading all the time. I devoured books, and it was like, that was what helped me,
Yeah.
but it was like that being put in my head. So I had that privilege of my
And the
dad,
last book you read was 1984.
in high school. Now,
Dude, do you know
I've
how many
literally read hundreds and hundreds of books.
Bro, do you know how many people, honestly, probably throughout the United States, the last real book that they probably read
was Where the Red Fern Grows?
Probably in high school.
Probably high school,
Yeah.
or college.
Absolutely.
Dude, I read so much during that time, and it sucks that I don't have time now. I think that's another reason why I hate teaching sometimes, because I don't have any time to read.
Yeah.
I want to get back to reading a lot. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? A few years ago, I used to read all the time. Now I'm not. But I also understand how good it helps me with everything in life.
100%.
You know what I'm
And
saying? I was
especially
talking
like,
to Chris about this
yeah.
when I came to your place. Pause. But we were talking about uploading the the clips and everything. You were telling me you went back to reading like 10 minutes a day or something like that.
No. So what happened to me is I was scrolling on Instagram watching, like, have you ever been scrolling on watching videos on Instagram, and you can actually feel yourself getting dumber.
Yeah, 100%. Because
Dude,
then you're
my-
like looking at animal videos
Bro,
and
dude,
stuff.
my rock bottom was I was watching a cat video, and I was like,
You're like,
it was like,
He
what?
was into it.
What am I becoming?
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
so I ended up grabbing I was like, I gotta.
has like an RX symbol on
Yeah.
your book. Like
I
this is the.
I was like,
character's
I gotta read a book. Like I knew how to counteract. Dude, I took a book off the shelf, and words are hard. And like I started reading,
and falling asleep.
and 3 sentences in, my brain having to work so much, I actually felt like I need a nap
Yeah.
to take
100%
a.
so-
because your
that's so-
eyes were.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
the concentration too. Like, I gotta really focus on this.
But you guys want to hear something crazy?
Yeah.
This summer, even with teaching summer school, I read 10 books.
Wow.
Good.
And
Wow, that's amazing.
yeah, so what I picked that one up, and I went, it was funny too. It was like, I was like, I started with an adult novel, and I was like, I'm not ready for that. So I went down to like my favorite children's book. So I started with not Indie in the Cupboard, Where the Red Fern Grows.
Okay.
And so I read that first.
Oh,
and-
so you actually, that was one of the last books that you read was Where the Red Fern Grows.
yeah. So what I did is I remembered all my favorite books from my childhood.
Mhm.
And I go, those are great too. So I went and got lists of what they consider the top 100 adult
Books.
novels
Uh-huh.
or books for adults and children, like we'll say from like 10 and above, 12 and above. And so I'm just picking from each one.
That's
Yeah,
nice.
dude.
How often do you
loved-
read? Like, do you schedule your reading time? or
No,
just-
I'm probably reading about now it's getting to the point because my brain is so activated again. I could go through a book like a children's novel. I could probably go through that in like 2 days.
Dude.
I could
nice.
read
Yeah.
now 100 pages quickly.
Same.
Oh, nice.
And then, but
I
adult,
gotta get back to that.
adult,
yeah.
I would say it's about 50.
You know
Okay.
what I did, dude? What was
Yeah.
like, I treated it like working out. When I was in high school, when I was a freshman, I started making myself read for an hour because I hated reading. And I was like, I got to make myself like it. Like,
Yeah.
I wasn't one of those people that, like, when I first started picking up books, I was like, oh, I love this. Like, I would read and I'd be like, I have no idea what the hell I just read.
Yeah.
Like, I would be like on page like 120. And then, like, somebody,
The
I was,
reading comprehension. is
no
just
reading
not there.
comprehension. It's just like, and then the monster swallowed
Yeah. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
sleeping bag and
Yeah.
blood spilled out. And I was like, what happened?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Go
Like,
back.
it's
Yeah,
like you
yeah.
like blacked out and then you read something that's like jars you to life. But like I started making myself read for an hour every day. And I did that all through high school. I did it all through college and through my early 20s.
Wow.
But it was like
It was
an
amazing.
hour a day
Yeah.
because like that was like my gym time. But I would literally set the timer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was like part of my like routine every day. So I would set the timer. Obviously I didn't have a phone at the time, but I would like set like a stopwatch or something
Yeah. Yeah.
and I would just read. And it was easier then because I didn't have an iPhone until 2014.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
flip phoning it until 2014.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it was like that is like when around the time that I stopped reading a lot. Because it's just like even now, like I still go out and buy books and I still finish books, but like 15 minutes in, I'll check Instagram
Yeah. Yeah.
and
yeah.
then I'll set it back down and then I'll check Instagram. So now reading an hour might take me an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah.
If for me,
I'm bad with my phone.
If for me with the new technology, I don't want to read off my iPad. I'd rather hold
I gotta
a
hold it.
real book.
They've done
because
studies
it makes
too.
it too easy to just
And it's bad
go
for
off
your
at it
eyes.
and go
For-
back.
You know what it is? They've also
Yeah.
done studies. People's reading comprehension goes up when they're physically holding the book.
Absolutely, I agree.
And it's
That's interesting.
yeah,
Yeah.
compared to the people that are reading it off Kindle
Kindle,
or
yeah.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
And the thing too with it is like I would tell anybody is like I don't care. People if they're getting back into reading shouldn't care what they're reading. Pick a book
I agree.
because it's
Anything.
you know what it reminds me of? It's kind of like when people are like,
Except for Mein Kampf.
yeah, save that one for last. But it's a palate cleanser, it's a palate cleanser.
That's a clip. Hitler's book.
But because I think that reading is kind of like dieting or working out, meaning like if someone like my buddy's a personal trainer,
Yeah.
and when people come to him, they go, okay, I want to change my diet. I want to do this. I want to do that. And he goes, just walk. So
Yeah, dude.
just read. It doesn't matter because naturally you know what you're going to start doing. Your brain is going to start working. You'll naturally seek out really good books.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
You just
and you'll
will.
start to like what I was drawn to was first it was comedian bios. That was like my big thing. Like, because I knew I wanted to be a comedian by like 7th grade. So I was like, I got to figure out. So I read literally every comedian bio. I read like Red Skelton, like all these comics from like the 40s, Groucho Marx. I
read Eddie Murphy's. It was
Raid
pretty
my
good.
library.
Yeah.
Yeah, Eddie Murphy. I read his
Yeah.
biography too.
Mhm.
Really?
I read like Bernie Mac's biography that he wrote when I was like 16. And then so I just read every comedian biography. And then I started reading like a lot of theology stuff, like stuff about the Bible and everything.
Okay.
And then like whenever I started having like mental health problems, I started reading just a ton of psychology.
Hmm.
And that's why, because I was like looking for answers. That's why I was so into Tony Robbins and all that stuff.
It's the best. Yeah.
I was reading just tons of self-help. But the weird thing about reading a lot of self-help was it counteracted on me. And because I read too much of it, it actually made me like think that I had to,
overwhelming.
I just started to think I needed to fix everything.
Yeah.
And it was like it started to look like a serial killer's bedroom because I had so many self-help books and there were affirmations just all over the wall from
I
like
had
Think
that
and Grow
too.
Rich,
I went that way
checks
too.
that I wrote to myself.
Yeah.
And it was
I
like
did all
I
that
wasn't
too.
even living in a reality anymore.
Yeah,
It was like
yeah.
I was trying, my to-do list became like a 6-hour routine. I'm not even kidding you.
Dude,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know
I
exactly.
went through
Before-
that.
I had a 6-hour morning routine.
I remember you gave me something one time.
I gave you hypnosis CDs.
That, but you also gave me
I quit
something
doing
about
hypnosis.
like a whole self-help like program.
Oh,
like,
dude, yeah. I
And
wanted
think
everybody
it did
to
it
be
with
into
you.
it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like, dude, I was listening to so much self-help. I deluded myself into thinking I was successful when I had no money. I was like scraping between the couch cushions. But like you would just tell me, be like, yeah, I had like a bad day. And I'd be like, what you need to do is like, I
Exactly.
didn't have any of my stuff together.
It does take you away from reality sometimes. When you live
Sometimes.
you live in your head a lot,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and that could just really
Yeah, it's
Not
That's why I
work
think
out.
positive therapy's a better route
therapy is way better.
than self-help.
dude,
Because
self-help.
self-help is
yeah.
kind of just like delusional, like
Thinking.
in a sense.
I was going to
Yeah.
say it's the
Yeah.
illusion of
Yeah.
progress.
It's the illusion of progress, dude. That is a great way to put
yeah,
it.
I
Yep.
I agree with that.
And you can't, because it's one of those things like it's kind of like
That is so good. The illusion of progress.
because you probably, I was thinking about it, like
Wow.
picturing you buying like all of those books.
Dude, I read probably 600 self-help books.
and I
I'm not even
bet you
kidding.
at some point you're like, oh, the reason why I haven't figured it out is because I haven't read this book yet. But if and then
It became like crack.
yeah,
Yes.
almost like there's some magic pill or something. Well, if I read enough, then eventually everything will work.
Yeah,
everything will click
Everything
into
will
place.
click.
Yeah.
And then you'll be like Goku from Dragon Ball Z and you're just like,
Yeah.
And when-
I've read 1,000
Yeah.
self-help books.
And you know what it really
It
was,
is-
man? Like you said,
it was
with the-
insecurity.
but I was gonna say
Yeah, it was
If-
not accepting yourself.
that's why, yeah, because
100%.
once you got into therapy and really got under the reason why you're turning to all those self-help books, then you almost don't even need those.
Dude,
You
I
got
went
the-
to 12-step. I got into 12-step programs.
Dude, good for you of looking underneath the hood.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
that was what
absolutely.
it was because I started going to 12-step programs. It's funny. I went to a program
For self-help.
Yeah.
No,
Wouldn't that be
but,
funny?
but that's what I would start sharing about at meetings. Be like, I'd be like, yeah, I haven't read any self-help books in like a couple months, and be like, I feel pretty good.
Yeah.
Be like, but I'm like really tempted to. I was sharing that kind of stuff,
yeah.
which is crazy. You know, you like see a Tony Robbins book, and then you
Bro,
just start sweating.
Can you just give me a page?
But if you think about it, some of that self-help stuff is a cult, man.
That's exactly.
It's-
It's,
it's
the
a
illusion of
cult.
progress, bro.
It's a cult. You know what
It's
I'm saying?
a coat, dude. That's
cult.
really
It's a
good.
cult. It just puts you in the mindset of beliefs and stuff, and then they bring you in to buy more stuff.
Yep.
To help you.
100%. Did you ever hear a
Keep it help you.
landmark?
Yeah,
I have a lot of friends, and they would like adamant like you need to sign up for Landmark, and I think Landmark works. There's people in my life. My pastor went to Landmark, and she's awesome.
Yeah,
There's really dope people, but I've also met a lot of Landmark people that got that glazed over MLM look in their eye.
yes,
Like you need to try Landmark.
yeah. I mean, honestly, I know several people because it's all entertainers that do that stuff, spend all their money
100%.
and do it.
Because they think it's going to open the doors of acting for them.
Yeah, and for some
Yeah,
people,
the reason.
some people, it
Yeah,
does
the
work.
reason why I haven't reached this
'Cause they haven't
goal
visualized
is
enough.
because this
You
has
get
been
more money.
blocking it.
Yeah,
You know.
There is
just
an
just
element.
Scientology. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? A lot of people I know I have friends is in it. For
Dude,
them,
I had a friend who's like,
Yeah.
he's like, I just threw away all my antidepressants and bought $200 worth of Scientology books. And I was like, are you serious?
Yes.
And they go, yeah, they said that they can get me off of antidepressants. He's a good
Oh,
friend of mine.
Yeah.
You've never met him before, but he used to do a lot of theater and everything. But yeah, he bought like
Yeah.
tons of Scientology
And
books.
and believe it or not, some of that stuff really works.
Scientology
What they
is self-help
teach
at the
is-
basic level,
yeah.
and then you get goat's blood poured on
Then
you
it goes,
like a
yeah,
couple
you
years
get
in.
deeper and deeper. It just gets really crazy and stuff. But I mean, it works for some people. But it
Yeah.
definitely takes you down a dark road too. Once you get in, it helps. Then you go right down a dark road and losing all your money and stuff like
Isn't
that.
it amazing
Yeah.
when you
You're caught
really
up.
think about it,
Yeah.
right? If you really get underneath all of it, why do people turn to anything external to try to change the internal? For the most part, it's an inability to sit quietly with their own thoughts
Yes.
and
That's
to
part of it.
understand that
Sit with
thoughts,
yourself.
sit with yourself and understand that thoughts are just thoughts. Most people don't have the ability, including myself a lot of time.
Me
Think
too.
about whenever you're wrapped up in something, is you can't divorce yourself from the thought being, the thought is like a cloud,
Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Instead of you become your thoughts.
Absolutely.
But your thoughts, and it's a hard thing to grasp, like your thoughts are just like clouds in the sky.
Is it?
And you have to be reminded. So if you feel like, oh, I'm not getting this or I'm not doing that, it's because you're identifying with certain thoughts.
Yeah.
And then you need something from the outside world to make you feel better about those thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah, your thoughts are just like the clouds, and then it's like, they're just passing through. I do think that's part of it. I mean, like I would do that with like students. Like when I was so ambitious when I first became a teacher last year. I was trying to teach them breath work and everything. And they're
All the
just
stuff
like,
you
"Ah,
do,
this is
yeah.
dumb."
Yeah.
I'm a kid.
You know,
What do
yeah.
I need
I
breath
don't
work
want to do
for?
that stuff.
Yeah,
For what?
100%.
I'm
I'm just gonna
good.
go vape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know? But I was like trying to teach them like breath work and different stuff like that, because I was like, I knew that a lot of these kids, I'm
Can
like,
you, can you
dude,
demonstrate for us?
I'd be like, so how I got them motivated was I showed them like people in the North Pole who would like jump in the water, like at the North Pole, and would do like cold exposure. And they were all like, they were super into it. They're like, how do they do this? I'm like, glad you asked. Like it was like a seminar.
Yeah.
Let me show you how. Yeah. And so I tried to do it, but then they were like they just didn't. Yeah. They weren't into
They
it
can't
at all.
comprehend that stuff.
They can't, but
too
it's
much.
like,
yeah.
I think that growing up with this, because I already have more anxiety because of this.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to always ingrain in the kids like different techniques, because you talking about the thought passing through their head and not believing it. It's a lot harder when you don't have idle time to just have thoughts. Like, dude, I don't have as much idle time anymore. I used to meditate all the time, but I pick up my phone now all the time.
Everything
to
is
just
dude.
to-
Everything,
and-
to
and-
escape
distract.
reality.
And they say
Yes,
you got to give
to
yourself
escape reality.
time before you start picking up your phone. Give yourself some time. Meditate, write, do something for yourself
Yeah.
before you pick up your phone.
Go for a walk.
Yeah, do something for
100%.
yourself. Because you got to stay focused to prepare yourself for the day. You pick the phone,
Yeah.
you're going down to that slope already. You
And
know
I
what I'm
read the
saying?
Bible when I
Yeah.
wake up in the morning, and my Bible's even on my phone.
Yeah.
So it's so funny. I'll be like, John 13. I'm going to see, I just got a message on Instagram.
Yeah, let me see who
You
liked
know what I mean?
who liked my post. What they say? Oh, now you stuck.
100%.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's like that addiction.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if they're gonna be banning phones. Tomorrow, this is our last day of summer.
Yep.
Our
And
last day of summer.
mine is too. I go to school next week.
Oh, okay. So this is my last day of summer. I start tomorrow.
Ooh, you too?
I start tomorrow.
Dun, 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 dun,
Thursday with the kids.
Are y'all ready? Dun, dun. So what's y'all mindset now going back to school? Summer's over. I thought summer went super fast, in my
Same
opinion.
here.
But how do you guys feel about going back to school on your first day? Are you ready? Your mindset? Are you coming in there different? Are y'all got different strategies now?
I
Or, like,
realize that
what's
I
the new
have to
thing?
ignore certain things, because it's like when I first started teaching, I thought a lot of what I was experiencing was compassion, because I was like, I wanted to help every kid.
Okay.
But then I got burnt out, and then that's why I was so like miserable. I feel like this year I have to ignore that compassionate instinct, is screwed up as that sounds. And what I mean by that is I have to be willing to be tougher
Okay.
on
I
the
got you.
kids.
Yeah, yeah.
And when you have like that compassionate instinct and you see what some of these kids go through, you naturally, when you first come in there, want to give them a million chances. You know what I mean? You want to give a million chances when you have that, when you lead with like that compassionate instinct. So when you're doing something different. Like this year, I'm just going to be strict right out of the gate.
So you coming in being tough from the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, tomorrow,
these are my rules. Boom, boom, boom.
Tomorrow and Wednesday, the kids are not at school. They don't come till Thursday. But tomorrow's an optional day. Then Wednesday is a day where we set up our classroom and everything. And then Thursday is that day where they come in. But my syllabus is going to be literally like a 3-strike policy. I give you a formal warning. I give you a second warning. And the third time, I call your parents. And if that doesn't do anything, I'm calling their parents in front of the whole class, because it's like,
that's something new.
I just don't.
So you go put this phone on speaker.
Yeah. 100%.
Everybody, shh, quiet down.
Yes, dude, because and people are like, that sounds awful. But it's like, dude, until you've like dealt with like the people watching, if they're not a teacher, until you've dealt with these kids, that's the only thing that works.
That's you know what? That's super embarrassing. I'm saying which is
them.
good. Yeah, good for you.
Yeah.
So it's so embarrassing when they don't want that heat.
I was so nice last year, dude, for so long, and they took advantage of it.
Yeah.
And so it's like, for me to keep teaching and to keep my sanity, people have to have a fear of acting up in my class.
That's good.
And that's like, I literally tried everything, dude. I'd take them outside. I'd call the principal. I'd sit and talk with them. Doesn't work.
Nah.
You know?
Nah.
So it's like,
I love the phone thing. So that's your new thing.
That's what I'm going to do this year.
That's a new one. That's a good one.
Yeah, I would say for me, I'm probably going to, one of the things I have to accept is that the students at my current school are very different than the school I was at previously, right?
Yeah.
And so I have to be that much more militant with them. So usually when it's a good group of kids, I will let them come in instead of lining up. I'm never doing that again. I don't care if it takes away from learning in the classroom and it takes an extra 2 minutes, right, to get kids settled. We're lining up. We are completely quiet. If you cannot be quiet, enter and start on the warm up immediately. We're going back out. And I don't care. Yeah, I don't care if we'll keep doing it. And then when a kid messes up and it's the same kid twice, call home. And, but the big thing is you need to establish your routines immediately.
On the first day.
Dude, they all line up. They're middle schoolers. You line up when you see me, right? And I come out and I'm trying to get people ready. You are quiet and facing forward. Then we enter the classroom quietly. If you're not, because if you're going to come in and you're going to push somebody or whatever, that's not happening in this classroom.
Good.
Right? You come in, the warm-up is already on the board. Your composition book is there. You start on it. You don't need to talk to anybody. Just start working. And so you have that.
You know what?
Dude, I'm just laughing because with your haircut and your conviction, you really are militaristic, and I love it, dude.
Yeah,
because it's all over your face, Chris, because you got that no
He's
offense.
tired of it.
You got that look. Don't piss me off, because I will mess you up.
I know, man. It's the deep set eyes. Dude.
Yeah. Don't do it. Or
these deep set.
You will be facing forward.
Yes.
There will be no horseplay.
Yes.
Yeah. And then for kids, it's very simple. Ready? Couple things that I'm changing. So I allow test retakes for students to do their homework, because number one, if you want to retake a test, you better show me that you've put forth an effort, or I know you're just gambling to try to retake a test, right? You didn't study.
Okay.
But I'm no longer allowing kids to come in during lunch. Very few did to begin with. We have a test day every Friday. Every Friday we're having a test. It's a short one, quiz, 5 questions. And I know exactly what my routine is going to be for Fridays. Kids can take their retakes there. They don't have to come in lunch or nutrition, whatever. But the other thing I'm going to do is that for the students who are causing problems, if I ask them to come back, I'm not keeping them to work on their iReady during lunch to make up for all the lost time that they were playing around. We are calling home. And I will call home, and you're going to have to keep coming back to my classroom. Because if your parent wants to avoid my phone call, guess what's going to happen? You're going to come back for 180 days if need be.
Yeah.
Until we talk to your mom or your dad or your grandparent or whatever, so they know exactly why you're being held, because that will take 5 minutes, right? doesn't need to be 25 minutes. And then I let the kid, but guess what? You got to keep coming back.
Yeah,
But
I did a training today with all my instructors, right? And the school, they got these people called City Corps, and these are the people who kind of discipline the kids in school. Okay.
wait, these are just disciplinarians who come in.
Well, yeah, they call City Corps. So they work in the after
Interesting.
school program, and they just want to make sure that all the kids follow the rules. So
Mhm.
what they taught the instructors today is that make sure that you have expectations
Yep.
with the kids from the beginning. Explain to them what you expect. You know, them to do. I need your voice to be at level 0. That means like quiet. Level 2, that means you can talk like this. Level 3, we can have a regular conversation. You see what I'm saying? But also too, what they teaching the instructors is that if you give an expectation and you ask a question and someone answers with the expectation that you want them to answer to, you get them a reward. Well, this is what, thank you, Sally, for listening to me. Yes, raise your hand before speaking. Here you go. You see what I'm saying? Now the kids are locked in from the beginning because they know what to expect. But if you go in and just teaching the class and just telling them whatever, do different things, they're not going to listen to you because you just set your expectations from the beginning.
Yeah.
You see what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
dude, you have to set those expectations from the beginning. You
Yeah.
know what the crazy part was? Last year, there was a sub that was filling in.
Yeah.
And she was actually a teacher. She was an actual credentialed teacher,
Mhm.
but she was filling in. I guess I don't know if she was looking for a teaching job again or something.
Yeah.
But the kids, for whatever reason, did not resonate with her. I liked her. I thought she was cool and everything, but she was very hard from the beginning. You know what I mean? She was older than me. And I remember when I got brought in, they were like, hey, the kids don't like this teacher. Just go in there and just charm them, win them over. Like that was kind of like, they didn't use those exact words, but that was basically the instruction. So when I went in, I tried to go in and be cool teacher. And they kids really did like me.
Yeah.
But I was like, all right, guys, you guys are doing these things. Be like, doesn't sound like you guys like doing that. No, we don't. All right, cool. Here's what we're actually going to do. We're going to do this, this, and this. And they're like, man, you're cool, mister. And then at first I was like, awesome, easy, fun. Kids love me. But then like as it goes on and everything and they get more and more comfortable with you, it's like having a crappy roommate, dude, who like, you're like, yeah, dude, make yourself at home and make yourself at home to that roommate. He's leaving his dishes in the sink.
He's eating your food.
And
Yeah,
he's like, oh, there's a piece of used toilet paper on the floor.
Yeah.
Like, don't you know that like flush that down? He's all, you said for me to make myself at home.
Yeah.
You know? And so now there's certain kids that like you saying make yourself at home by being cool and by being welcoming and trying to create a cool space where they feel comfortable. They totally just chew you up and spit you out. And I was
Absolutely.
not a pushover when I came in there. I was cool and I was like firm, but I was lax. I didn't have like any.
You also didn't know, dude.
I didn't know really. And so in part of it, I thought my job was reliant on part of my job and me keeping my job is how well the kids like me. Because
Yeah.
the admin was like, the kids love you. They want to be in your class. And that was the thing. But inwardly, I was like losing my mind by about Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
by
'cause
about
you gave away
Thanksgiving.
too much energy.
I
away.
gave away way too much energy.
Yeah.
And so this year, it's like you almost have to go in there with the way you are at the end of the year. All right, we're not going to do that right now. That's your first warning. You do that 2 more times in the class today, calling home.
Yeah.
You do it again, next time we call your parents. In front of
Absolutely.
the whole class.
Yeah.
You know? And so it's just like, it sucks because as an artist, you don't want to be that guy. That's not your natural disposition usually.
But you have
usually,
to.
but you
Yeah.
got to be. And it's training, dude, for being a parent, honestly.
Yeah.
Because
Treat.
What I
Yeah.
learned is that today giving kids junk food as a reward system like Takis, chips, cookies is the worst thing you could do for a child because you're telling them like, hey, you did good, so let me give you some junk food to make you feel better. In actuality, they're not doing it because they want to listen to what you're teaching them. They're doing it for the junk food. So you think, okay, since they did something good, in actuality, they didn't do it because they did something good. They did it because they want the junk food, which is a bad thing. You see what I'm saying? And that's not teaching the kids anything. And they say if you go give someone a reward system, make a reward system where you give them tickets to something to win a bigger prize toward the end, because they will act more about that because it means something more to them than giving them junk food as a reward system.
Yeah, dude.
It
Yeah.
also only the reward system of whether it's Jolly Ranchers or whatever.
Yeah.
It always will reach a point that the reward stops working.
Yeah.
Yep.
It does.
It also doesn't reach the kids who don't care.
Yeah.
And you ready? Here's the third thing. Why I just went with no more Jolly Ranchers and I gave them away. The kids at the school
They go expect it.
that I work at now, not the past school, they throw the wrappers on the ground outside.
They make a mess.
And I go, so your idea of someone spending their hard-earned money having to put up with you is they give you something and then you just destroy the world around you. And I went, I'm going to let some other teacher do it. If I don't want to ever think that Jolly Rancher wrapper is for me. And
yeah.
And also too, it's like,
it's bad too.
Yeah. And you think about expectations and stuff like that, always following through with whatever you're saying.
Whatever you say you're going to do, dude. And dude, that's a great habit to have anyways.
Yeah.
To be so impeccable with your word. And that, dude, like when you say that you're going to do something, like if you do that to me, I'm calling your parents. And then it's like, sorry, you have left me no other consequences. Like, just almost being flat.
And remember this, anytime, right, this year, anytime if you lose it, and by lose it, I mean just really raise your voice, you've lost. So, and I do that, I'm looking at myself too when I say that, right?
Well, no, I probably do it way more than you.
So, or if a kid is going back and forth with you and trying to play, and trying to play that power dynamic, you're right. If you allow yourself to get caught into that, right, you've lost.
No, dude. Yeah, you're arguing with a 12-year-old.
Yeah, they're never going.
They're never. The same rules don't apply. It's
they
like
don't
playing chess and they put like a penny racer on it.
They're playing a different game.
Yeah, it's a different game.
Like their game is what I want. It isn't about what's the most logical thing. It never is.
No. Yeah. And I wasn't logical when I was 12 either, you know?
Especially some of the kids that I have to deal with. But so that's why you just go, hey, so this is what you did. This is the consequence. End of story.
With no emotions behind it.
You got to almost get to that point.
Yeah.
Because you got to go, that's what it is.
You have to, you have to, because it's like, that's the thing is I wanted the kids to have a good time. And so I was like bending the rules a lot and it totally screwed me.
But also remember, a lot of these kids' wires, right? They're not right in the head.
Can you clarify that? Because they're young or
no, he means it just
their families, their upbringing, whatever, has not laid down the solid foundation on which for them to be a functioning person in society, let alone school.
Dude,
I agree.
So it really is like dealing with somebody that is in a cult. So
it's deprogramming. Yeah, we have to deprogram.
I look at it and I go, their big thing, like if a kid knows that they can get a rise out of you, they're insane. What do you think that their goal? I would feel bad if I made a teacher raise their voice.
Same.
At me. Not that kid. That kid, that's fun for him.
Loves it.
Loves the power.
Yes.
Makes him Well, that's why you got to do the complete opposite.
Yes.
It's weird though, dude. I would use like acting techniques that I had. Like I wouldn't even be that mad, but like I would almost do like a character. Like I would do like the crazy, you know what I mean? Like that. And I would not break eye contact with them.
Yeah.
And I would not blink.
Yeah.
And then I would watch them get scared. So I definitely used, I was like, I used crap that I used.
Dude's crazy.
That's what I did. I would try to show them that I was like nuts. And I would like look at them like that. But so with your instructors, I don't know if you can actually say, we got to get out of here in a second, but like, is there anything that you told them? Like, do they ever come to you and be like, I don't know what to do about these kids? Like, does that happen to you a lot to where like, they come to you and they're like, I don't know what to do anymore.
Yeah. But sometimes they don't know what to do. That's why today was so important to give them tactics to handle the kids better. Because what they try to teach, what you were saying, Chris, is not yell at them. That's the worst thing you can do. Say, hey, sit down, stop, sit, stop. Because they live for that.
They
They
love
do.
it.
They love it. You know
They
what
like
I'm
to
saying?
see you come out of
They're
yourself.
the center of attention.
Yeah, you lose your mind for no reason,
Yep.
and that doesn't work.
Uh-huh.
So they just give them ways of just saying, okay, I expect you to, lower your voice. What did we talk about at the beginning? Can you tell you what we talked about at the beginning? And have them repeat what you talked about already. Now it's implemented in their mind to do something correctly because you already talked about it. If you get them to say what you talked about already. So what was my expectations? You said before I started talking, raise my hand first. So did you do that? No. So did you follow my expectations? No, I did not. Okay, thank you. Next. You see what I'm saying? Now you got the power because you're more calm and not yelling at not yelling at the top of your lungs to get them to listen to you.
And it's actually scarier to them.
Yeah.
Because
It's like
you're
reverse
calm.
psychology almost.
If you're calm.
Yeah,
I
calm.
mean, dude, think of it like the mob boss. Like
Yeah.
in every movie that's like, I've given you a million
Exactly.
chances, Charlie. I've told you several different times.
Yes.
And I've asked you very
Mhm.
nicely. And then the guy's like, no, please, don't do this.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
they were the
and-
craziest ones. Yes.
Yeah, they're the
mob people-
craziest ones.
Yeah. And you losing your mind because they're so calm.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember I saw the movie The Mask, that movie with Jim Carrey, and there's like a mob boss in it.
Yeah.
And then he's like, Dorian, he's like, you have continued to disappoint me time and time again. He puts a T in his mouth, hits the golf ball. I
Uh-huh.
don't know if you ever saw that movie, but
I
like,
did. I can't remember.
it's a
it, though.
long time
Yeah,
ago.
yeah,
But
yeah.
he's so calm when he would deliver his lines. And it's like,
Yeah.
you got to be, maybe that's the name of this episode.
Yeah.
Be a mob boss teacher.
My boss teacher. Yes.
Be calm. People will watch it just to figure out what it's about.
So I made him an offer.
Yeah, 100%. I made him an offer. I can call your parents, or you can give me 10 minutes of your lunch. Choice is up to you, kid.
You should take the kid's lunch and eat his lunch in front of his face. Like, thank you.
Yeah, and be like, listen, this is a valuable lesson. Be like, who made the sandwich for you? Mom. Oh,
Yeah.
what's your mom's name?
Yeah.
Mrs. Johnson. No.
me
What's your
call
first
her.
name? Vicky. Oh, Vicky makes a good sandwich.
Yeah. Call
Just
her,
eat
and
it.
then call her on the phone like, Vicky, great sandwich.
Vicky, great sandwich. In fact, what are you doing on Wednesday night?
Exactly.
I would love to sit down and talk with you about your son.
Yeah.
Do you drink bourbon?
Yeah. That's hilarious.
That'd be a funny way to get fired.
I'm telling you.
Is call it for parent-teacher conference. Be like, listen,
done
this
deal.
cannot be solved in one meeting.
Yeah.
We need to meet up again. What are you doing Friday night? Like that'd be the most savage thing you could do.
That's how you
They're
hit,
like,
that's how
we
you hit
gotta
on
let go
somebody's
of you.
mom. Like,
100%.
100%. Yeah.
Well, sweet. Well, it's great to be back with you guys.
All right.
And
That went really fast too, man.
it did, man.
That's a quick hour.
It was fun.
Yeah.
All right, y'all.
We out.
Captain Planet.
Peace. Boom.
Bye. I don't know if you guys
Later.
want to watch that show.